Little things make huge difference. And that has been our emphasis at this episode or ongoing episode of Leaders Arise. My name is Demola Awoyele, and I want to say warm welcome to you on today's episode of Leaders Arise. Today I'm sharing on the leadership principle from the life of David, still on our topic, little things that make huge difference. So let's talk about this man, David. Remember, David is perhaps one of the greatest men that ever lived. Yeah, he was so great that Jesus chose to come from his lineage. Jesus is the offspring of David, as it were. All right, that's what scripture teaches. And that shows you how great David is, or David was. And David was the holy man that God said is a man after my heart. So when God says that David is a man or was a man after his heart, there should be something special, as it were, about this man called David. Remember, he was not the most perfect person. In fact, he had a lot of flaws. He had a lot of imperfections. He had a lot of issues around his life. He wasn't the most perfect. He wasn't even perfect at all. He had his own issues and flaws. He made some mistakes and all of that. Despite all of this, God still called him a man after my heart. Could there be a few lessons that you and I can learn about David, and now we can transpose that to our own very life and enterprise so that we can become everything that God has ordained us to become? And that will be my emphasis on today's episode of Leaders Arise. I noticed that David was a guy or a man that paid attention to little things. I will show you from scriptures. Remember in 1 Samuel 17, when David was to face Goliath, or before he faced Goliath, when he got to the battlefront, one of his brothers, I guess Eliab or whoever it was, met David and said, how stupid are you, or something like that. He said, what are you doing here? I know you have come to spy the battle. Well, you may not use that word, how stupid are you actually, but he was actually angry at David. And one of the statements that Eliab made, or that brother of David made, revealed the mindset of that brother, of his brothers, and also confirmed the attitude of David. You know what Eliab said? He said, who did you leave those few sheep with? Because David was taking care of the father's sheep. So he left the sheep. Remember, even when David was leaving the sheep, the Bible said he left it in the hands of somebody. He didn't just leave the sheep. That's a mark of leadership. Some people just leave their work. They say, because I am going somewhere, or because they sent me somewhere. It was his dad that sent him on an errand. But he didn't use that excuse to leave the sheep behind. Of which that is what a lot of people will do today. Because he has a reason to go to where he was going. His dad sent him to go and deliver foodstuff or whatever, provisions to his brethren. But even before he left the sheep with some people, with somebody. He said, please help me take care of this sheep while I quickly dash to the battlefield. But that's not where I'm going. Eliab, or whoever it was, the brother of David, asked David, said, who did you leave those few sheep with? That revealed the mindset. What was the mindset? Eliab, or whoever it was, saw the sheep as few. Maybe that was why they weren't going to the bush to take care of them. They felt, I can't come and kill myself over 12 sheep, over whatever number. I can't come and kill myself. I can't come and kill myself. And God was noticing all that. That if a young guy can pay attention to what other people are neglecting, I think I have a leadership material in this person. So David didn't, that's why when you check the calling of David in Psalm 78, verse 70 to 72, Psalm 78, 70 to 70, the Bible said that God chose David from where? From following animals or sheep, ewes, both young and older or something like that. God called him out of that place. He asked him to go and take care of his people, Israel. How did God call him? He called him from something little to something big. Some people are waiting until they are called to do something big. I normally give this quote, one of my favorite quotes in leadership. If you are too small, or if you are too big to do something small, then you are going to be too small to do something big. If you are too big to do something small, then you are going to be too small to do something big. I wish to say this a million times, but permit me to say it for the last time. If you are too big to do something small, then you are going to be too small to do something big. Very powerful statement you must pay attention to. If you are too big to do something small, then you'll be too small to do something big. That means, how do we know a great man, a big person? He doesn't neglect little things. David went after his father's sheep. Eliab called those sheep few, but David did not call them sheep few. He saw them as an entrustment. He saw them as something that he must pour his life on. Remember, these same few sheep, I guess, David never lost any one of them. You know, you have some pastors today, maybe associate pastors, maybe whatever you are. You give them 12 members to pastor, or you give them 100 people to pastor, they look at them as small. I was telling people I started pastoring, even in this ministry, 7 people, 8 people, 12 people, and I will give my best. I won't say because they are 12. So God looks at the way we handle little things to see if we are going to be qualified to do big things. I know you want to pastor a mega church, but before you start pastoring a mega church, you will have to handle a mini church, if there's any grammar like that. You want to pastor thousands of people. Will you be able to pastor tens of people? Will you be able to pastor 8 people, 12 people? Say, no, God has shown me in the revelation. I saw a sea of head. I saw an array of people, and I saw me standing up and ministering to them. I say, congratulations. As wonderful and valid as that vision of yours is, you will not likely start like that. In fact, you will not even start like that. You are going to start with handling 10 people, 8 people, 5 people. Like David. David was handling few sheep, Eliab called them. But this same David, God saw a leadership material in him and called him from following those small sheep to now lead a whole nation of Israel. That till today, the impact of David is still being felt. What is the challenge I'm posing to you today? Stop despising little things. Learn from the leadership story or style of David. David will not neglect little things. David will not neglect small things. David will not run away from responsibility. I normally give another quote from the life of David. You see, if there is a job, it's a very it's a quite lengthy quote, but you will get the understanding. If there is a job, okay, let me say it this way: the man that qualifies to do the job that everybody wants to do is the man that makes himself available to do the job that nobody wants to do. So this is a job now that nobody wants to do. This is another job that everybody wants to do. So when people are queuing to go and apply, quote and unquote, they will join this queue of the job that everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to become the king. Like Eliab wanted to become the king, another brethren of David. Everybody wants to become the prime minister like Joseph. Everybody wants to become the queen like Esther. Everybody wants to become whatever it is you want to become. But there's also another job that nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to sweep the floor. Nobody wants to go to the bush to take care of animals. Nobody wants to fetch water for donkeys like Moses did. Nobody wants to do menial jobs. He said the man that is qualified to do the job that everybody wants to do is the man that does the job that nobody wants to do. Because David actually did the job that nobody wants to do. That was why they trusted only him to the bush. But when the time came for the job that everybody would love to do that kind of job, it was a David that paid attention to little things, that staked his life for little things, that became qualified to do the job that everybody wants to do. Now it becomes very surprising how God chooses his own leaders, not the way the world chooses their leaders. That's why you wonder how God will just bring somebody out of nowhere to be a pastor, to be a this, to be a that. You will wonder, where is he coming from? God saw his faithfulness in handling little things. That's leadership made easy for you. You want to become a leader that God has ordained you to become, start paying attention to little things, little assignment, little money, little opportunities, little platform for service. And once God finds you faithful there, He will sure take you to heights beyond your comprehension. This is Leaders Arise, and my name is Demola Awoyele. In case you have questions, comments, or feedback, let me have them on the platform that you are streaming from. And of course, Help me like this page, help me subscribe if you're on YouTube, then share it to your friends and loved ones, and watch out for the next episode. Go right there, pay attention to little things, and make a big difference in your generation. Bye for now.